They are the youngest female mafia bosses, stepping into a bloody underworld at a tender age. One became a killer at 16. Another required 200 police officers to be captured. But is this power everlasting, or merely the beginning of a horrifying downfall? At 16, most girls dream of carefree walks with friends or a bright future ahead. But Christina Pinto's path veered into blood and chaos. Instead of dresses and laughter, she wore the title of a cold-blooded assassin trained to carry out armed ambushes for the Camorra, the infamous crime syndicate of Naples. Christina was born in the impoverished suburb of Panura, where the Camorra's shadow loomed over every street corner. Little is known about her early childhood, but what came later sent shivers throughout Italy. Arrested while still a teenager, she remained silent under police interrogation. Yet, after her release, she stepped fully into the underworld, as if the darkness had chosen her, and she never resisted. Through ruthlessness and loyalty, Christina quickly earned dangerous responsibilities, commanding a 6-man security detail for Mario Perella, a powerful padrino of the Pella clan. She not only coordinated logistics for ambushes, but also became the first woman officially recognized as a Camorra hitwoman. Rumors spread quickly, and the name Christina soon struck fear into rivals. But power never comes without a price. On June 18, 1992, police surrounded the house where Christina was hiding. The chaos ended with the young queen arrested as she tried to flee with her 3-year-old daughter in her arms. A 30-year prison sentence ended her reign of terror, but opened a personal tragedy. The young mother was barred from seeing her child, who was raised by Christina's sister. She was just 22 when the prison doors shut behind her. Decades later, when she was released, some say after 22 years, others claim 23, Christina admitted, "Prison didn't change me. Once Camorra, always Camorra." The chilling confession stunned the public. Even though she later bought a fishing boat and made a living at the port of Poi, few believed she had truly abandoned the shadows. The question lingers like a blade over her head. Did Christina Pinto truly walk away, or is she merely waiting for the right moment to return? In the Camorra, once you step inside, there is rarely a way back. Renee Lawrence's life began so ordinary that no one could have imagined she would one day be tied to one of Asia's most notorious drug cases. Born in Newcastle, New South Wales, Australia, Renee had a simple childhood, working as a panel beater before landing a steady job at Compass Group, a major food service company. Her life seemed safe and secure until fate opened a dark and irreversible door. At work, she met Andrew Chan, a name that would later be infamous as the leader of the Bali Nine, a syndicate that smuggled heroin across borders. Chan wasn't just her superior. He was the man who lured her into a world with no way back. Some claim Renee was forced, threatened with harm to her family if she refused. Others believe she was tempted by the easy money promised by the underworld. Whatever the truth, her life had crossed into dangerous territory. Renee soon became part of the smuggling operations. Her job sounded simple: strap heroin and cocaine around her body, slip past airport security, and deliver it to waiting contacts. But behind this simplicity lay an operation worth hundreds of thousands of dollars. The deeper she went, the less chance she had of escaping. On April 17, 2005, fate struck. At Ngurah Rai International Airport in Bali, police discovered 2.689 kilograms of heroin strapped around Renee's legs and chest, hidden beneath her clothes. That same day, 3 other Bali 9 members were caught, and the leaders waiting at a hotel were also arrested. Renee's world collapsed in an instant. She was initially sentenced to life in prison, but with good behavior and sentence reductions, her term was cut to 20 years. Life behind bars, however, was anything but merciful. Renee attempted suicide multiple times. One such attempt left her with a broken arm. Despair engulfed her, turning the once vibrant woman into a ghost within prison walls. On November 21, 2018, after more than a decade behind bars, Renee Lawrence was released and deported back to Australia. She became the only female member of the Bali Nine to walk free. Meanwhile, Andrew Chan and Muran Sukumaran were executed in 2015. 5 others remain imprisoned for life, and another member died of cancer. Since her release, Renee has almost vanished from public view, living a quiet life away from the spotlight. Yet one question continues to linger. Has she truly severed ties with her past, or do the shadows of the Bali Nine still follow her every step? In the Mafia world, some people choose the path of crime, but others are bound to it from the moment they are born. Marissa Marico belonged to the latter, her fate sealed not by her own will, but by the immense shadow of her father, Alio Dioin, one of the powerful padrinos of the 'Ndrangheta, the wealthiest and most brutal criminal organization in Italy. From childhood, Marissa's mother tried desperately to save her from the grip of crime. She took her to England, hoping distance would shield her from Milan's underworld. But every summer, when Marissa returned to visit her father, she was drawn deeper into his bloody empire. As a teenager, she witnessed drug deals, weapons trading, and money flowing like rivers. Fate took a sharp turn when Marissa fell in love with one of her father's men, Bruno Marico. Bruno never hid his work: smuggling, extortion, violence. That love pulled Marissa into the darkness, transforming her from an outsider into an insider. When her father was arrested for manslaughter and sentenced to 8 years, he wasted no time handing the reins to her. It was a defining moment. Marissa, a daughter who had always longed for her father's approval, seized the chance. To Alio Dioin, only a son was worthy of succession. But Marissa proved otherwise. She managed money laundering, narcotics, and other illicit operations. Cold and decisive, she quickly became an indispensable cog in the 'Ndrangheta machine. But glory never lasts. Italian authorities began closing in. By late 1993, Marissa was arrested and convicted of organized crime charges. She served 2 years and 9 months in prison, a sentence that might have been her escape. Yet when the cell doors opened, Marissa refused to let go. Upon release, she began appearing in interviews and talk shows. Strangely, instead of hiding her past, Marissa turned it into a weapon, speaking openly about life as a mafia princess. Audiences were both intrigued and unsettled. Was she truly repentant, or was she glamorizing a criminal legacy? Today, Marissa is said to be pursuing a degree in criminology, as if to transform her blood-stained experiences into academic knowledge. But the question still hangs heavy. Can someone who once held power in one of the richest mafias on Earth ever truly escape? Or is it all just a facade, masking a loyalty still burning for her family and the towering shadow of the 'Ndrangheta? Marissa Marico's story is not only the tragedy of a woman born into darkness, it is also proof of fate's cruelty. No matter how far you run, the shadow of the mafia follows. In the end, every heir must face the same choice: betrayal or continuation. And Marissa, despite her claims of change, may never have fully broken free from the name that defined her entire life. In Mexico's drug history, few names inspire both fear and fascination like Sandra Ávila Beltrán. She was called many titles: La Reina del Pacifico, the Queen of the Pacific, Lena del Pacifico, or simply the Woman in the Shadows. Yet behind those glamorous nicknames lies a life of contradictions, a story that leaves listeners both intrigued and unsettled. Sandra was born in Baja California, Mexico, into a family with cartel blood running through its veins. Her father, Alfonso Avila Quintero, was related to Rafael Caro Quintero, the infamous Guadalajara cartel boss. Her mother, Maria Luisa Beltrán Felix, also came from a clan linked to the underworld. From an early age, Sandra breathed mafia air, where wealth and power were inseparable from violence and blood. As she grew older, Sandra's romantic ties pulled her deeper. She married twice, both husbands once police commanders who later became drug lords. Both were murdered by hired assassins. Instead of retreating, these tragedies hardened her resolve. Sandra rose higher, expanding her connections and making herself a vital bridge between Mexico's cartels and Colombia's cocaine empire. For years, Mexican police only heard whispers of her. Publicly, Sandra portrayed herself as just a housewife, but rumors swirled that she oversaw massive cocaine shipments across the Pacific. She covered her tracks so well that even veteran agents could not pin her down, until fate forced her hand. In 2002, her teenage son was kidnapped. The abductors demanded $5 million in ransom. Desperate, Sandra reached out to police herself. That choice changed everything. She got her son back, but the authorities' spotlight never left her again. From then on, every move of the Queen of the Pacific was under surveillance. The end came in September 2007, when police arrested Sandra alongside her lover, Juan Diego Espinosa Ramirez, a key figure in Colombia's Norte del Valle cartel. Earlier, authorities had seized a ship in Manzanillo carrying more than 9 tons of cocaine, directly tied to Sandra's network. Her trial became a spectacle. When interrogated, Sandra smirked and insisted she was a housewife earning extra money by selling clothes and renting properties. But everyone knew the truth was far darker. She was accused of laundering billions through multi-ton cocaine operations stretching from Colombia to Mexico. After years of investigation and imprisonment, Sandra served a total of 7 years, including 2 in solitary confinement. In 2015, she was released. But was it truly freedom? Mexican media trailed her every move, while Sandra herself gave chilling statements, blaming the government, not the cartels, for allowing corruption and drug trafficking to thrive. Today, Sandra Ávila Beltrán lives in Guadalajara, a ghost from a bloody past. She is in her 60s, yet the title Queen of the Pacific still carries weight. People wonder, has Sandra truly repented, or is she merely waiting for the right time to resurface? In Mexico, corruption runs deep, giving cartels an aura of immortality. And in that blood-soaked landscape, Sandra Ávila Beltrán remains a figure of mystery and dread, a queen who may have stepped out of the shadows, but perhaps never truly left them. In Mexico's underworld, many women rise to power because they are born into criminal families. But Clara Elena Labaran Archuleta was different. She stepped into the shadows through marriage. Rumors say Clara Elena was once a beauty queen, her striking looks captivating Hector Beltrán Leiva, the ruthless leader of the Beltrán Leiva cartel, one of Mexico's most powerful drug organizations. From that moment, her fate became tied to blood, guns, and narcotics. When Hector was captured, the cartel faced collapse. Instead of disappearing, Clara Elena made a shocking choice. She tried to rebuild the empire. With iron will, she personally oversaw raids, reorganized smuggling routes, and sought to preserve her family's power. But her boldness marked the beginning of her downfall. Mexican authorities soon noticed unusual activity in Hermosillo, in the country's north. Reports indicated Clara Elena herself was involved in a planned raid on Acapulco, a city long considered a cartel stronghold. When police struck, they found her carrying firearms and 2 kilograms of cocaine, undeniable proof of her role in the operations. Her arrest sent shockwaves through Mexico. Less than 2 years after Hector's capture, Clara Elena, the glamorous wife who had once lived in the shadows, was dragged into the light in handcuffs. The trial was swift, some say suspiciously rushed. Yet to the Mexican government, this was the final blow against one of the most notorious cartels. Strangely, after her sentencing, Clara Elena seemed to vanish. Some unverified reports even claimed she had escaped prison, continuing her work to restore the cartel from the shadows. These whispers turned her name into an enigma. Was she simply a victim of marriage to a drug lord, or had she truly become a queenpin, ruthless enough to inherit his empire? Clara Elena's story reflects a paradox of Mexico's criminal world. Women often begin as shadows behind powerful men, but when the tides shift, they are forced to seize the helm of a blood-soaked ship. And at times, their hands prove just as merciless as any male boss. To this day, the true fate of Clara Elena Labaran Archuleta remains shrouded in mystery. She has either vanished completely or disguised herself so well that no one can trace her. Yet in whispers across Mexico, her name lingers, a reminder that the underworld always has its queens in the dark, and sometimes they are far more dangerous than the men they once loved. In the history of Italian crime, few stories shock as much as that of Giuseppina Juicy Vitali. While most children at 6 were learning to write, Juicy was already a vital link in her Mafia family. Born in 1972 in Partino near Palermo, Italy, she grew up with 3 brothers, all deeply involved in crime. From a young age, she was tasked with carrying secret messages to family members in prison. By 13, Juicy was forced to abandon school and officially became a full-time Mafia queen. She inherited the family's dealings, drugs, money laundering, smuggling, and soon rose as an unwilling but formidable leader.